Hey guys, it's me, Mr. Stuffo, back at it again with another video. Today we are playing a game called Portrait of a Ghost. And the story, as it says, is Arthur Hope is a spirit photographer, able to capture images of the departed with his camera. At least that's what he'd like you to believe. After all, any price is worth paying to see a loved one's face again, isn't it? Unfortunately for him, ghosts just might be more real than he realized. And I found this game on itch.io, and I don't know, it sounded pretty fun, so let's go ahead and play. How to profit off of grief. Right this way, madam. Please, make yourself comfortable. But why don't we have a chat before we begin? Tell me more about your dear husband. Tell me more. There, yes, bless his poor soul. In a modest sitting room with curtains open to the afternoon sun, the widow perched like a shadow in the arms of a plush velvet seat. With her veil pulled back from her head, delicate fingers clutching the handkerchief she brought repeatedly to her large, sorrowful eyes, she made the perfect image. Picture perfect, of the poor grieving soul that the gentleman sitting before her often received. A poet might have described her glistening eyes as deep pools of wretched misery, or oceans that had no end. But Arthur Hope was no poet. His only observation about the woman's face was his hope that she wouldn't burst into tears during the sitting. Arthur made his living off of grief, of course, but dealing with the grieving was a rather tiresome facet of his profession. As the widow went on about her poor deceased lover, his gentle and charitable nature, and so on, he carefully prodded her, now and again, about the man's general features, forming an image in his head of how to best shape his next creation. A young man with a lion's mane of bright hair, average height, deep-set eyes. I'm sure I have a plate matching their description somewhere. Good thing that I have this wig handy. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I have a real picture to take first. There are so many things I wish I had said to him. Oh, he told me not to worry, but I'm sure he was a wonderful man, madam. I'm so sorry once again for your loss. You know, I always tell my clients I can never guarantee when my camera might capture a spirit. But today, I feel almost certain he might be in the room with us. Why don't we take your picture now and see for ourselves? Oh yes, of course. Make yourself at home. I'll be right back. Oh. Center the image with the frame. Oh. Boom. Oh, whoops. There you go. That should leave enough space to add a spirit. We're ready to begin. Please stay still until I tell you when the exposure is complete. Yes. If you're there, my darling, please show yourself. Please. Arthur Hope hadn't always been a charlatan. Once he had been Artie, a shy and a painfully honest boy with angelic blue eyes and a limitless imagination. He spent every chance he could in his uncle's library, losing himself in tales of monsters and terror. They were never so frightening as the real world around him, you could say. Honesty, however, would rarely turn out to help him. Honesty had never stopped his Uncle Cain, nor his withering looks, did not protect him from the schoolmates' vicious pranks, nor impress the teachers. Gray, hollowed men with thinning hair and thick spectacles at the various boarding schools that always inevitably sent him back home. It hadn't always been his fault. Once had simply closed due to the unfortunate scarlet fever outbreak. No, it was a liar's world, and by the time Arthur Hope first found himself behind the lens of his late uncle's sliding box camera, he'd built well, if not a kingdom of lies, then at least a barony. At just shy of 30, his schemes had brought him an unsteady income and the regard of a handful of influential friends, few of whom knew his background or how much he truly borrowed from them. Arthur's uncle had taken up photography late in his life, and having no family saved for his troublesome nephew, had left the young man the aging house he turned into the studio along with the small furniture, or fortune and equipment after his death. Arthur had had little interest in the profession beforehand, but even he could not resist the allure of bargaining technology that was so much like magic, capturing light through a mechanical eye, preserving an image of the world a single moment in the time. It was something just like the tales of mystery he grew up on. The ability to capture his own likeness was, of course, its own draw. He had a fair face, he was not shy to admit, and would like a reminder of it should he ever have the misfortune of living a long life. Carefully, he slid the plate holder out from the camera's wooden frame. A pile of discarded glass plates and blurry album and prints sat on a table beside him, the fruits of his earlier attempts. I have a good feeling about this one. Let's get you in the dark room, shall we? It was at the print formed in the early afternoon sun. Arthur Hope saw his uncle's ghost in the frame beside him. Whoa. Spirit caught on camera? Photographer captures ghostly images? Ghost photograph shock world? Spiritual photographer, the man behind the camera. Our spirits all around us. Ghost photographer Arthur H. Hope claims to have the answer. So, he found a ghost in his camera. It was only after a sleepless night of waiting for his spirit to accost him. Then, furiously rifling through his uncle's equipment, that he realized he made a simple and perfectly ordinary mistake. Photographic plates have to be cleaned very thoroughly to remove any imprint left behind by a previous negative. Arthur, an amateur, had not done so. Thus, a trace of one of his uncle's self-portraits remained on the glass plate he had used for his own. Ah. The fact that the image had lined up so perfectly was nothing short of a miracle. Miracle that sparked the idea for a brand new, lucrative story in Arthur's mind. It's him! Oh, my darling! I knew you were with me all this time. Thank you, Mr. Hope. Thank you. You look so peaceful. I don't know what to say. Overwhelmed, the widow began to sob. Arthur patted her back gently. I can earn more if I make them come back for a sitting or two before I give them a spirit. But God, I felt sorry for her this time. I'm growing soft. Not at all, madam. It brings me joy to know you have a guardian spirit watching over you, even beyond the grave. I can be at peace now. Thank you. Please take this. She handed him a stack of crisp banknotes, far more than the agreed upon sum. I can't possibly, madam. I insist. Not a bad use of time after all. That's actually, it's kind of smart though, that like, he just like accidentally did this and now people are just banking off of it. But eventually your lies are gonna come up, right? Has to be. Portrait of a girl. Late in the evening, a knock came at Arthur's door. The widow had been his last appointment of the day, but it was too common for unwanted visitors to arrive long after closing. Sometimes it was the press, sometimes an angry skeptic, sometimes a wretched, grieving soul who would beg for charity. Arthur. Should I ignore it or head for the door? Fuck it. This is like a common scene. It happens all the time. I would probably ignore it, but I'll head for the door then. Arthur crept down the staircase to the entryway of the old house and quietly approached the door. He carefully looked through the spy hole. Stood there in the rain was a girl. This looks so creepy. What? She didn't seem to have an umbrella or raincoat. It was a miracle she wasn't drenched thoroughly. Perhaps she'd arrived by carriage? But Arthur hadn't heard one approaching, and none were stopped in the street. Tap, tap, tap. Once more she rapped on his door. Arthur wondered how long she'd been standing there. He decided to... fuck it, we're already here. I don't know what's happening. It sounds scary though. Without hesitation, Arthur swung the door open. Can I help you, miss? Ah. In the gloom of the rain, lit with only the light coming from the hall, the young woman was surprisingly lovely. She looked about 20, with her face so fair she could have been a porcelain doll, if not for the deep brown eyes that stared with such vivid intensity from behind her dark lashes. Locks of her chestnut hair spilled from a bonnet trimmed with wide ribbons and silk roses. Her gown was made of a rich green satin and fine white lace, and looked expensive, yet at least a decade out of style. The girl clearly came from money, but it seemed that she or her guardians had dated taste. Are you the photographer? Her voice was soft but did not betray any nervousness. Her brown eyes stared right at him, almost. Arthur felt straight through him. Well, yes, but my friends call me Arthur. I don't wish to become your friend, sir. But if you are indeed who you say you are, then I require your services. Making demands straight away, eh? Definitely a rich lass. Perhaps even a highborn. In that case, best to hear her out. What can I do for you, miss? You're the photographer, are you not? I need you to take my picture. I'd be happy to make an appointment with you, miss, but I can't guarantee a spirit will appear. I don't want anyone or anything else in the photograph. I just need my picture taken. A likely story. She wouldn't be the first to ask for a simple, ordinary sitting, while secretly hoping for a ghost to appear. Well, I'm fully booked for quite a while, but I'd be happy to arrange a sitting. You have no one with you now, so why can't you take my picture? Miss, it's late. Lamplight makes for a poor image, and I'd have to wait until daylight to make the print in any case. I'd also emphasize how inappropriate it is for a young lady to call upon a man uninvited after dark. Please, one picture is all I ask. Please, I've been waiting so very long. I should. I can tell her to just screw off or hear her out. I mean, I'm already this far, right? Should I just do it? I'ma just do it. Can I at least ask why you need a photograph so badly? There's somebody I must send my picture to. Somebody who I haven't seen in a very long time, who needs to see how I look now. How I've changed. There are plenty of other studios that could accommodate you. None of them would open their doors to me. None of them are like you. There truly is nobody in this world like you, sir. Well, if there's anything I can resist besides a large purse, it's flattery. And let's admit that sweet face isn't an easy one to refuse. Being around sobbing fools all day really has turned me soft. Fine, you've convinced me. Please step this way, miss. Edith. Edith Harper. Edith, huh? Can I offer you any tea? None, thank you. Please, can we hurry? As you wish. Alright, time to center this image. Boom. No? She looks so creepy from here. Is that not centered? Should I do that? That. What is centered? Right here? I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to center the image, right? So right there. Right there. Am I supposed to leave a little space for the fun? Nope. I'm so confused. Did I do it? Boom. Centered. Boom. Centered. Boom. I'm so confused. What is happening? What? Hey. What do I do? Oh my god, sorry for the cut, but oh my god, that took me forever to figure out where the image had to be centered. Oh my god. I was just sitting there, just fucking going, Anyways, we'll need more candles. I can't get an image like this. Technology is awfully inconvenient. You could have come by the daylight, you know. Ah, there you go. Oh my god, wait. I just spent so long doing the centering and now I have to I have to center it again. No. Okay. Yeah? There we go. Wait, where did she go? Are you ready? Wait, she was not in the image. Huh? Yes, we can begin now. Ugh, what's come over me? First I let some arrogant, ill-mannered girl walk over me like a carpet, and now I'm seeing things? 5960. Done. You can move now, miss. Is that all? Good. I'll prepare the plate now, but again, you'll have to come back tomorrow for the print, Miss Harper. I open at... I'll visit you at the same time tomorrow evening. Good night, sir. Wait. So, Arthur stopped her concern? No, he didn't. He let her go. Honestly, just let her come back later. Never mind. I'll see you tomorrow then. Disregarding his protest, she slipped from the room through the entryway and out the front door into the rainy night. She didn't even ask to borrow an umbrella. Damn it, I forgot to discuss payment too. Well, hopefully she brings enough with her tomorrow. Now I have to get this plate ready before it dries, but after that, perhaps I'll retire early. It certainly has been an interesting night. That night, Arthur Hope had strange dreams. Part 3. Phantoms. A chill wind rocked the house, rapping through the walls. Figures crept around the edges of Arthur's vision, flickering like flames, hovering like moths. A weight covered his entire body. He could not shift or twist his limbs. The blanket engulfing him felt like the earth packed with stones. Heavy, cold, damp. Whoa. Something wriggled under his clothes, creeping up his neck, over the side of his cheek, into his eye sockets. Another crawled into his open mouth, slithered down his windpipe. He tried to scream, but not a sound came. His jaw was locked in place, his lungs were still. More writhing things engulfed him, eating at his flesh, digging between his bones. Arthur jerked violently out of bed, gasping. Cold air filled his lungs, bringing him back to the waking world. He rubbed his eyes, then struck a match and lit the candle at the bedside table. The flame danced as he lifted it gingerly in the dark. No use trying to go back to sleep after that. Ugh, water first, then I'll try to study and read. Reek. What? Tap, tap, tap. A noise rang out in the dark. Arthur listened. Sure, it must be the rain on the window. Sure, it must be the rain on the rain on the roof, or a shutter against the windows. Tap, tap, tap. Reek. But the sound was too close to come from outside. No, it was more like tap, tap, tap. Footfalls, the creaking of a floorboard. Good lord, did someone break in while I was asleep? Quietly, Arthur reached beside the bed for this familiar weight of his uncle's cane, then carefully, cautiously stood up. What? Oh god, I gotta move it. Okay. Oh, this is terrifying. What am I looking at? Wait. Okay. Am I supposed to center the image? Even still, we still got camera eyes. We gotta angle. Is it that? Oh, God. Jesus. Okay. Get a hold of yourself. A burglar is nothing. You've dealt with worse. I don't like the music at all now. What happened? I don't like it. Still nothing. Ugh, this pounding in my chest. It's all thanks to that blasted dream. Hello? I know you're there. Come out. Nothing. Did I imagine it? I'm sure I heard a sound. Thunk, thunk, thunk. Sound came again, but thicker, heavier, clunking along the wooden floorboards. Creak. Arthur continued through the house, heartbeat growing faster, louder, more erratic with every step. His grip never left his hefty weight of a wooden cane. I'll teach you to never lie to me again, boy. I did it, and I swear it. Then who left it out of the rain? This book was worth more than your sorry hide. But the cane seemed to grow heavier in his hand, then warmer, then white hot like a flame. Arthur jerked and dropped it from his hand. It landed on the floorboards with a thud. He brought his searing hand to the candlelight. It was burned straight through the bone, leaving ruined, melted flesh on his back and skeleton. Ugh! Fire engulfed his body. His skin melted from his flesh, crisping and charring. He let go of the candle, screaming. The tiny flame licked at the wood and set it alight. Everything turned to smoke and fire and dust. Arthur tried to run, to scream again, but black smoke filled his lungs. His body felt like it was buried in the earth. Hot, burning, earth. Nothing was left of him now but bones and ash. And then, there was nothing left at all. Nothing but darkness. Thump, thump, thump. The sound of that infernal cane. Arthur's hope remained curled up on the floor, writhing like an insect, uttering pitiable, choking cries that sputtered into rasping gasps. And there, as he lay on the floor, in the corner of his eye, blurry, barely visible, like a photographic negative, an afterimage, a phantom. A figure stood, ghostly white. Is it her? Is it Edith? Oh, I don't like it. Part 4, Portrait of a Ghost. I don't like what's happening. Arthur Hope awoke at dawn in his bed. He lay silently, heart still racing as the faint ruby light traced his face. He breathed in, then out, slowly until his heartbeat steadied. Then, he gingerly sat up and rubbed his eyes. I haven't had a dream like that since the old man. Well, not in a long time. He felt beside his bed. Familiar, terrible weight of that old wooden cane rested in the same spot as it always did. Quick look in the mirror as he dressed confirmed that his body and skin remained intact and unburned, and he was none the worse for wear, save for a dark shadow blooming around his eyes. That morning he skipped his usual per usual of the paper and crept up to his study, unearthing a pen and ink that an old journal from his drawer instead. Familiar old handwriting and scribbled peeked from the pages. Why am I so shaken up that I'd return to this? It's a shame no one's invented a camera that can capture dreams yet, but I suppose then there'd be no need for poets. The hours passed by, yet the previous night had left him in such a daze that it was only after he sent off a tearful client in the late afternoon did Arthur remember the strange girl and her odd request. Damn it, it's cloudy out, but there should be enough light to get a print. Arthur carefully set the glass plate in the printing frame, secured a sheet of albumin paper against it, then closed the case and set it by the windowsill. Now to let it sit. It was at the last rays of the sun faded that Arthur Hope pulled the image from the frame and stared straight into the face of a corpse. What in the... The negative looked fine when I put it in. Did I expose it? Expose it onto the wrong plate? But none of my ghosts look like this. That girl, Edith, must have tampered with it. But why? What does she want with me? Tap, tap, tap. Familiar rapping came at the door. Arthur stared at the doorway with a sick feeling in his chest. It has to be Edith, right? No, he certainly did not. He answered the door. I'm gonna answer the door. Fuck it. Arthur stomped in the door, flung it open, 1,000 questions and accusations on his tongue. You have a lot to explain, Miss Harper. This isn't... Nobody was there. No girl in green satin. Not a single soul. Arthur gritted his teeth and turned away. Why are you so upset? Oh! Gah! The girl who stood in his sitting room wore no bonnet or day dress. Dirt and soil and damp, dark stains clung to her bare feet and rotted, ruined nightgown. Her skin clung to her flesh in patches, pieces of it eaten away and rotted to the bone. Her long hair was matted in thick tangles. Her eyes were gaping hollows. Someone of your profession certainly stars easily. Miss Harper? What do you want? This isn't funny. Certainly not. I'd like my photograph, please. What kind of trick is this? You're the ghost photographer, are you not? Isn't this why you agreed to take my picture? You're a ghost? You expected me to be among the living? Well, perhaps proper introductions are in order. My name is Edith Emmeline Harper. I died in an accident 11 years ago. I'll spare you the details, but in short, I found it rather upsetting that my body still hasn't been discovered. So when I heard about you, I decided to take matters into my own hands. You expect me to believe any of this? Is this new to you? I thought you were more of the worldly type. See for yourself then. Edith reached out towards him. Arthur jerked back, but the girl did not flinch. She gently lifted a filthy hand to his face. Arthur waited for the feeling of rotten flesh, but the girl's skin was smooth and cold. Ice cold. Far too cold and still to belong to something living. As her bony fingers lingered on his face, he felt his own skin grow colder, tingling until it felt like something was crawling beneath it. That's enough. Fine. You're dead. So what does this ghost want with me then? What does a ghost want with me then? I want you to send that photograph to my brother. The stupid fool thinks I ran off with some man. Me? Elope? Honestly. Tell him to look for me near the old chapel where he used to play. Why don't you tell him yourself? Why haunt me? Very few people can see or hear ghosts, Mr. Hope. And of them, well, let's just say that few murderers end up as professional photographers. What did you say? There was only one thing in common between the people who could see me or hear me, Mr. Hope. They'd all killed before. What? Momento vivir. Arthur Hope wasn't always a charlatan. Once, he'd been a penniless young man struggling to make an honest living, and often had to supplement his income through other means. When one day, a letter arrived for him from an elderly uncle, requesting his assistance around the household due to the old man's ailing health. Young Art packed his few belongings and headed to what he hoped was a welcome reunion. That hope would quickly be dashed. I never killed anyone. I didn't kill him. I didn't mean to. He had half a foot in the grave already, so I didn't. Arthur, I just wanted to scare him. He didn't deserve that much. He treated me like dirt my entire life. And then when he called me to his sick bed, I thought maybe he'd apologize to me just once. But no, the old man wanted to cut me out of his will. Me, his only flesh and blood, just to spite me. He knew that I had nothing. He knew that money was the difference between life and death. But all he wanted was to spit in my face in the end. What else could I have done? Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Look at you. You're alive, aren't you? So long as you're alive, you can change. You can call yourself out from whatever hell you've built. It's only us ghosts who have to be stuck in the past. Yet, you've been haunted all this time, haven't you? Done. I signed it in your name, so he'll be sure to open it. Thank you. Arthur Hope carefully placed the sealed envelope into his coat pocket and dusted himself off. His possessions, most of the things that had belonged to his uncle, rather, had all been sold or given away. Pale daylight filtered through the curtains onto an almost empty room. The house felt like a ghost of itself. Arthur picked up his worn leather suitcase, packed with a few belongings he'd first arrived with long ago, and checked that the envelope was in his pocket. Then he walked down the empty hallway. He stopped when he saw the familiar shape of a wooden cane resting against the wall. He briefly picked it up, feeling its weight ran his fingers along its aged surface, then sighed and set it down again. He walked out the front door without looking back, a figure only he could see trailing behind him. What will you do? Start over, or try to. I need time to sort out all my messes. Time away from here. It's not like I have anything tying me to this place. I do wonder though, if ghosts exist, why didn't the old man ever haunt me? Perhaps he had no reason to stay. Ghosts aren't eternal. They fade away, just like people do. Like I will, too. What it sounds like she wanted to say. Arthur exited the post office and decided to walk to the harbor. The air was cool and damp. He carefully stepped over puddles left behind the rain, weaving between passerbys. People rushing here, there, without any breaks in their monotone lives. But at least they were alive. What will you do? What I've done for the past decade, I suppose. Wander around, see the sights, watch my brother and my nieces. Wait until I get sick of the living world and see what lies beyond. I see. Well, I guess this is goodbye. Yes, for now at least. Everybody dies, you know. Perhaps I'll see you again sooner than you think. Farewell, Edith. As the ship pulled away from the harbor, Arthur spotted a familiar face among the passengers on the deck. Mr. Hope, is that you? Madam, what brings you here? I'm returning home to see my family. I know my dear Samuel wouldn't want me to be all by myself. What about you? I'm doing some traveling. Oh, just a moment. You have a bit of dust on your shoulder. As the young woman's attention was diverted, Arthur deftly slipped a wad of banknotes into her pocket. I wish you all the best, madam. You as well, Mr. Hope. Take care. Aw, he slipped a banknote in. So he aw. Arthur was like, I feel guilty. Don't. Yeah, as the widow walked off. As the widow walked off, Arthur turned and gazed out at the sea. The sky had cleared and the sun now sparkled on the crashing waves. He stared out at the shore and thought he could see, for a moment, a flash of green standing in the harbor. But the next moment, it was gone. Finn. Arthur H. Hope would be arrested and convicted on fraud charges within the next 5 years. Wow. He finally got caught. It seemed he would never change his old habits. He was unable to complete his sentence, however, as his health would quickly worsen. He succumbed to consumption in a matter of months. His last words were supposedly a name, Edith. Consequently, it would be a Miss Edith Amy Harper who would compile the poems he'd written during his short imprisonment and publish them posthumously. Yet nobody could figure out, in the end, just how he'd made his ghost appear in his photographs, or if they were real all along. Wow. Ending 3, Carmen's Silgi. Signy. Wow. So, wow, that was interesting. There might be different endings, I'm assuming, but that first ending was pretty interesting. Like, to have that like fraudulent life at the start, and then just being a fraud and then seeing a ghost, like, so interesting. I really hope he changed his life though, but I guess he really didn't. That sucks, dude. I was really hoping he would change his life. But I will be right back. We'll see if we can try to get another ending, because it seems like there's multiple endings. Be right back. Alright, so we made it back to this part. I'm gonna try the ignore it side this time. We're gonna see what happens. He got up only to stretch, then returned to the desk where his correspondence was piled up. More requests to travel for sittings. It's high time I open a separate studio, but perhaps it'd be better to leave this town entirely first. His thoughts were interrupted by another knock, and soon another. Perhaps I should see who it is. Arthur crept down the staircase to the entryway of an old house and quietly approached the door. He carefully looked through the spy hole. Stood there in the rain was a girl. So I guess it didn't really matter, huh? So you still ended up opening the door. That's interesting. I thought it would be very different. I thought it would. Let me go through these scenarios real quick and see if there's anything different. I'll be right back. Actually, like 2 seconds after, I immediately found another thing. So let's let me save this one. But let's just immediately ignore her again. Arthur stepped back from the door, but once more the knocking came, growing more desperate. Tap, 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 tap! Perhaps she needs help. Ugh, I hate to get involved. But it wouldn't do me good to become known for letting some poor soul catch her death in the rain. With some hesitation, Arthur swung the door open. Can I help you, miss? So this one was... So this is the other section. She looked away. Got 20. Okay. Let's see if there's... Let's see. Does it just go back to normal? I see. Alright, we're back to another scenario. I am very curious to see... I'm gonna save this one as well. I'm gonna just send her away. I'm gonna keep ignoring her. I'm gonna just say, nah, get out of here. I think I've made my answer clear, miss. Good day. Please. Arthur slammed the door closed. He waited there for a moment. Perhaps out of some small sense of remorse for leaving a desperate girl alone in the rain, but no further knocking came. Perhaps I could have offered her an umbrella, but she didn't ask. And it wasn't my concern anyway. Sparing one final glance at the door, he turned back and retreated up the staircase to his study once more. Time passed, and Arthur soon forgot about his strange visitor. Right this way, Mr. Harper. Can I offer you any tea? None, thank you. Of course. Wait, Mr. Arthur? Wait, that's the brother, is it not? Of course. Did you bring a guest with you for the sitting? What? No, I came alone. Then who was that? Well, never mind. Oh. Ending 1, Memento Mori. Okay, well, that's one of the endings. That means there should be another ending. I'm gonna look for it. I will be right back. Alright, let's see what this one says. Stopped her, concerned. Do you need me to call a carriage? It's awfully rainy. Oh, that's sweet of you, but decorism isn't necessary. You don't have to act concerned for me. She smiled a little sadly, but quickly turned her back again and headed for the doorway. I'll be back soon. Good night. Disregarding his protest, she slipped from the room, through the entryway, and out the front door on a rainy night. Alright, so that was that interaction. Let me see if I can find more stuff. Alright, I found another part. I forgot what I did last time. Oh, let's say no this time. tap, tap, tap. Arthur waited for the sound, the infernal sound, to stop. He buried his face in his arms. I've had enough of this. Enough! Gradually, the tapping softened and slowed. Finally, it felt silent. Arthur breathed a deep sigh, then quickly got up and peeked through the spy hole. Nobody was there. No girl in green satin, not a single soul. Arthur gritted his teeth and turned away. Why are you so upset? Oh, she pops up anyways. So is there actually any different setting? I don't know. That's interesting. I thought I went through all of the... I guess there's only 2 endings, huh? I wanna see. Yeah, I don't know. Cause this just all looks like the same exact. I don't know how to get the 3rd ending. Let's see. It goes through this again. Nah, yeah, I actually can't find it. That's interesting. Huh. I mean, I'll go through it one more time, but I think that is it. He picked up his stuff, he left. Ah! Wait. I just... I just missed it. Wait. Ah, shoot. Hold on. I didn't realize it was different. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Let's go back. Let's go back. Ah, shoot. When did it start? Here, let's load back. Let's load back. Because, I clearly have missed it. Okay, goes through this stuff again. Huh. Really? I completely missed it. When did he do it? What did you say? Okay, it goes there. Ah, okay, maybe this is it. Well, he goes through this again. I never killed anyone. I didn't kill him, didn't mean to. Maybe to apologize. No, the man would cut him off. He's only fresh in blood. Just spice that. Stop feeling so. Look at you. You're alive, aren't you? Hey, you've been haunted all this time, haven't you? It's done. Signed your name, she'll be open it. Thank you. Arthur Hope carefully placed a sealed envelope. His possession of most of the things that he belonged to his uncle, rather sold away. Pale daylight. Empty hall. He stopped when he saw a familiar shape of the wooden cane resting against the wall. He briefly picked it up, feeling its weight ran through his... Where is it? What will he do? Start over, or try to. I need time to sort out my messes. Time away from here. It's not like I have anything tying me to this place. I wonder though, if ghosts exist, why did the old man ever haunt me? Perhaps he had no reason to stay. Ghosts aren't eternal. They fade away just like people do. Like I will too. Is that what it sounded like she wanted to say? So this is where it changes, right? Arthur exited the post office and decided to walk to the harbor. The air was cool and damp. He carefully stepped over the puddles left behind the rain, weaving between passerbys. People rushing here, there, without any breaks in their monotone lives. But at least they were alive. What will you do? What I've done for the past decade, I suppose. Wander around, see the sights, watch my brother and my nieces. Wait until I get sick of the living world and see what lies beyond. Hey, can ghosts travel? Far away from where they died, I mean. I don't know. I can't say I've ever tried. Well... Ah, there it is! Would you like to? Oh my goodness. Would you like to join me? I mean, countless years without anyone to talk to sounds awfully dull. I thought you said you had enough of Ghost. Fake Ghost. Metaphorical Ghost. Not the real thing. Well, I suppose I had better keep an eye on you. Who knows what trouble you'll dig yourself into. And you are far better company than some of the serial killers I've met. That's horrifying. And fascinating. Tell me more. Aww. So this is the ending I missed. As the ship pulled away from the harbor, Arthur spotted a familiar face amongst the passengers on the deck. Mr. Hope, is that you? Madam, what brings you here? I'm returning home to see my family. I know my dear Samuel wouldn't want me to be all by myself. But what about you? I'm doing some traveling. Oh, just a moment. You have a bit of dust on your shoulder. As the young woman's attention was diverted, Arthur deftly swept a wad of banknotes into her pocket. I wish you all the best, madam. You as well, Mr. Hope. Take care. Edith? Oh, there's a difference. The girl had stepped away to watch the sea, transfixed on the deep blue that stretched towards the horizon. The sky had cleared, and sunset now sparkled on the crashing waves. Arthur stood beside her quietly and gazed out as the ship slowly sailed away from the shore. If he were a poet, he might have tried to describe the color of the sky or the depths of the water breaking around them. But he only sighed and felt sorry that his sliding box camera hadn't fit in his case. Finn. Alright, what happens now? Arthur H. Hope would succumb to consumption within a decade, but only after writing a series of beloved mysteries novels that features a cunning detective and his unusual companion, a ghost. He became known for his old habits, including carrying a sliding box camera around him and seemingly always talking to himself. His last words were supposedly a name, Edith. To his dying day, he never revealed just how he made his ghost appear in his photographs. Some believe they were simply real all along. Carpe diem. Wow. So that was the good ending, and somehow I managed to get the bad ending at the bad and third ending at the last one, where he just goes to jail for fucking fraud and incarceration. That's weird. But that ending, I love that ending so much more, where she just befriends Edith. Like, that's something I've always wanted to do, is just fucking befriend a ghost and, do all that stuff. So that's cool that he was just like, you know what? Come with me. Let's like go on an adventure, basically. But yeah, that's it for Portrait of the Ghost. It was a pretty good game, honestly. Finding the endings I was a little confused about, but overall it was a good game. I think I'm just not really good at like finding other endings. I normally just like play one time through, but today I finally decided to just go through the endings. Anyways, that's it for me. Bye bye.